Hello, welcome to Local Edition. I'm Leslie Leyton. Housing prices and rents in the Inland Empire are going up, and while that may be good news at the end of this long recession, our next guest is concerned the story might not have a happy ending. And with us now is Congressman Mark Takano. Thank you very much for being here.
I'm glad to be here, Leslie.
You know, part of the problem, rents are going up, but wages are going down or holding steady.
That's right. That's exactly right. And we did a rent study because we got some complaints from a lot of my constituents about this situation. And what we discovered in that study was something astounding. We used census data for the last 8 years, and what we discovered is that rents, 1 out of every 3 renters in Riverside County are paying more than 50% of their income on rent. That's simply unsustainable. You can't save for the future, you can't save for retirement, you can't pay for other amenities like clothes and food. It's a very challenging situation.
The target rate about 30% of your income, they say, but they say that the 50% mark is a little more rampant than we think. But this is a problem and possibly not sustainable. Is that your concern?
That's my concern, and we started to look at the causes of why rents and housing affordability are out of reach for a lot of people. We've seen housing prices appreciate by at least 20%, in addition to this problem with rents. So what's driving these price increases? We think that it's investor-driven, that housing prices are not being driven up because of people buying homes for themselves, but investors, and a big chunk of this pressure is coming from large bulk buyers, big Wall Street hedge funds. They're buying up, in Riverside alone, they bought up 500 properties. And what's new is that in last October, a group called Blackstone, a Blackstone investment group, they bought up properties all over the country. They're taking the rents, instead of selling the homes or reselling the homes, they are putting money into fixing them up, but they're taking the rents and they're securitizing them into bonds. It's reminiscent of the subprime mortgage-backed securities that all brought the Inland Empire to its knees.
So on the face of it, buying the properties and renting them out, even if the rents are higher, not so bad. But if you make it a little more convoluted, a little more confusing with the securities and the way it's monetized and sold off, it's not like I buy the house and rent it to you. So there's not a direct relationship. That's
no,
the concern.
well, it's not. It's different than the small local investor that might live in the community and might have a few houses that they're trying to rent out.
Which is a completely different thing, because you want the houses to sell after this horrible recession.
That's right. Yeah? That's right. So I'm not saying this is a completely bad thing. I'm saying that we were caught off guard in the mortgage crisis. We didn't understand these complex mortgage-backed securities. There was not enough government oversight. I'm just saying that before these new bond instruments become too prevalent, that we understand them better. So I've called for hearings, and I've written to several agencies that should have oversight, the Securities and Exchange Commission, HUD, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, among the people I've written to. So, you know, what I want, Leslie, is for us to understand these bonds better, to see if we should step in and regulate. I want to understand the impact they're having on our communities. Because, you know, 500 properties alone by one investment group, what is that going to do to our neighborhoods? Do we want to see single-family homes in neighborhoods that were not really built for renters, but built to be owned by families?
On the other hand, you want to weigh, is it better to leave these homes vacant, where that's not great for a neighborhood either if they're taken back from the bank?
Well, and I agree with you, and I think a better solution is to try to help middle-class families get into these homes, but they saw the prices shoot up by 20% in 1 year.
Maybe a slower recovery is a better solution.
Yeah, slower, more gradual recovery that, or at least for the housing market, I want families to be in these homes.
Thank you so much for being here to talk about this. We'll check in with you later on that. And we thank you for joining us as well. I'm Leslie Leyton.